The luxury coach business has made tremendous strides in recent years in terms of passenger comfort and the facilities offered on board. And the German manufacturers have been in the forefront of design and the use of new technology. This is the Neoplan Skyliner, the largest of the luxury coaches made by one of the world's biggest bus manufacturers, based in Stuttgart. Up here on the top deck, you can see how far removed this sort of coach is from anything we're traditionally used to in Britain. You have a marvellous double-decker view of the surrounding countryside, and it's really very comfortable. Every detail's been thought of. There are seats for 76 people on this coach, but there's no need for anyone to feel cramped because the seats not only have an adjustment to tilt backwards, but they also move outwards like this. Now, that wouldn't be allowed in Britain because there's a minimum width allowed for this gangway, but it's a very popular feature on coaches on the continent. Up there ahead of me, there's a television screen, and there's a panel on the seat in front where I could plug in my own personal stereo headphones and listen to either the television channel or a choice of 4 music channels, and I could even tune into the courier talking down below. Up here, you have the control of your own climate. There's a nice big air vent to swivel around, there's a reading light, and there's a call button to call for the stewardess. And when she comes, if she's serving you a meal or a drink, there's a tray in front of you on which to put it. Here's the little kitchen where all the food and drink you're going to need on a long trip is prepared by the stewardess. It has running water and a little sink. There's a refrigerator here to keep all the cold drinks, a neat little rubbish chute, and she even has telephone contact with the driver. And in here is the toilet and the washing facilities. The driver's comfort is also well catered for. He sits high up with an excellent all-round view and on a driving seat with a pneumatic suspension system. He has a video view of the passengers upstairs through a little monitor on the dashboard. That's a feature that isn't allowed in Britain, where no television screen may be within sight of the driver. The cockpit's very well equipped, and there's the multi-channel hi-fi gear for the piped music to the passengers. On the Spaceliner, the driver actually sits underneath the passengers. They benefit from being high up, as if on a double-decker, and with a marvellous view over the countryside. There's also an enormous amount of space below for their luggage on a long tour, as well as a bed behind the cab for the off-duty driver to sleep. Up here on this high single deck, it's much more like being on an airliner than on a coach. There are even the same sort of overhead luggage lockers, so that you can stow all your big things safely out of the way. The seats, or at least the ones that don't have another row in front of them, have seat belts so that you're safely held in place. There are some nice, comfortable, adjustable footrests in addition to all the other adjustments on the seats. Up there in front of me is the camera through which the driver can see on his video what's going on up here, and there's even a digital clock. And down a couple of steps near the back of the bus are all the facilities for preparing refreshments and the washroom, and that is out of sight of the other passengers, which is a nice touch. There's one strange feature about this coach. There's no rear window. Now, I don't like that. I wish there were one, but there are some very good reasons for it not being there. First of all, the driver is, of course, on a floor below, so he can't see through it. And also, coaches like this travel very widely in some very hot countries where it's not a good idea for the sun to be beating down on the backseat passengers. But the most important feature is a safety one. It allows the manufacturers to build into that area a big rollover bar and some strong cross members. And they protect the passengers up here in the event of a crash and any rollover accident.